20. 32 games complete. Let's see if we can get to 33. The game Ninja 5-0 on the Game Boy Advance. Probably not normally a game I would do, because this game can actually be kind of tricky. Not necessarily the hardest game in the world, but can be very difficult, especially because any death means you restart the entire level. There are no checkpoints in any level. Granted, the levels aren't that long, but enemies can sometimes just deal a lot of damage. So if you're taking too much damage too quickly, it can end up being a problem, especially because you do not heal in between levels. Anytime you beat a level, you restore some health, but not all of your health. So if you have very low health when you beat a level, that's just going to make the next level a little harder. Especially, it would make it harder if you were playing on hard mode, because hard mode is basically the same as normal mode, except there are no health pickups in the entire game. So you really have to learn the levels in that difficulty. And that's kind of what makes this game not that bad, if you know what you're doing. Because while the game can be kind of tricky, the levels aren't really that long. And so it becomes more about just kind of memorizing the level, knowing where the enemies are, the best way to deal with those enemies. And it's not too bad from that point on. I think there shouldn't be too much problem for the most part. There are some tricky levels in Harbor and Base. But I don't think Bank's not hard at all, because it's, you know, the beginning level. But then I also don't think Cave's that difficult, and Airport's not difficult at all. But with having those 5 levels, that is why I have to play on normal mode. Because if you play on easy, you only get Bank, Harbor, and Airport. And the game basically tells you to just play on normal for the rest of the game. So you really don't get an ending or anything. If you play on easy, so in my opinion, that wouldn't be a satisfying definition of beating the game. If you only played to the point where the game told you you haven't beaten the game, you know. Yeah, and then a lot of the levels tend to kind of have 2 design elements, kind of a bit maze-like in a way. It's not a go from point A to point B, it's instead an explore the entire map, because you need to rescue the hostages, which you do have to make sure you're not killing the hostages. I'm actually gonna kill this guy to get my meter back up. I use a special meter so I can take these two guys out without... take all these enemies out without risking dying. It's very, very close. I really just need to hope there's no more enemies. But I gotta get to the blue door so I can get the red key. Hopefully I didn't miss the red key. I don't think I would have, though. Where is the blue door? Yeah, to not kill the hostages, you just have to either wait until the enemy... starts shooting, and then it's safe. Or was I just in here? Well, there's like no enemies, so I definitely am... must have just missed the red key. Yeah, either just wait for them to start shooting or hit them from the back. And that'll make sure you don't kill the hostages. If you do accidentally kill one or two, that's not too bad. You'll just lose some health. But if you kill too many of them, regardless of your health, you will just instantly lose. Then the other part of the kind of maze-like structure of the game is finding the keys. To which I think in most levels I think there's only the red, blue, and yellow keys. But later on, I think there'll be green keys as well. Which... I'm doing this boss fight so bad. This is what you normally do, is just kind of hit him, wait a bit, and then hit him again. But I guess I'm pressing A too early, because I'm hitting the A button and he's not jumping. Yeah, and then the blue, yellow, and green keys will all just lead to different passages, different paths, different areas. But the red key is always the end of the level. The red door will always be the end of the level, and you can't get to the end of the level unless you've saved all the hostages. Harbor, I think, is actually of the first 3 worlds. I think Harbor is actually the most difficult, because there are a lot of, like, the spike platforms, there's fire hazards. There's a lot of things that can deal damage, and some pretty awkward design in some cases. And then anytime you do have to restart a level, you will restart in the exact same position you started with the first time. You don't get a full heal, you don't start with 0 meter or anything. You always start back to how you started the level. So if you have low health going in, you'll still have low health. But that means if you have full meter to do your special, or if you were level 3, you'll still be level 3 or have that full meter. So if you ended the last level in a good position, you'll be in a good position for the next level. If you ended the last level in a bad position, then that's just going to make the level a lot harder for you. And you don't really have to wait for those platforms, you can kind of just jump over them. Level 2 in general isn't like that much more useful compared to level 1. Like, yeah, you get the more range on where your shots go, but it really is level 3 that's super good because the beam can cut through enemies and enemy shots and deals a lot more damage. And then every world is split up into the same structure each time, so it's 3 levels and a boss for all of them. I don't think you can get like a game over in the sense that like I don't think you ever have to restart a world. I think you can I'm pretty sure you get infinite tries on any level. You never have to restart a world, so at least that's nice. Alright. I think kind of the problem I'm just running into is there is some sort of kind of awkward input delay, like after landing there's like a little bit of time before he'll actually do a swing or something. A sword swing at least. I need to get more used to how that all works. The one thing that is interesting is actually the level layouts across normal and easy are actually different. The places where the keys are, the places where the hostages are, enemy placements and all that are actually different. Like, the level layout's still the same, the doors are still in the same place, the maps still look the same. But where any items or enemies or anything else is different between the difficulties, at least for normal and easy. For hard, the only difference is, again, there's no health pickups, which is what makes it hard. But it's not a game that would be too bad, as long as you kind of know the layouts and how the game works and you're super familiar with it. Because again, it is that, just how familiar I am with the game determining how easy it is. It's been a while since I played this game, so I might struggle a bit on especially Harbor and Cave. Or not Cave, Base. But I have beaten this game on hard before. Alright, this level. This level's a little tricky just because this first section here is like really awkward. But yeah, I actually didn't expect the green door to appear so soon on. I thought that was gonna be like you get to the later levels. That was worthless to grab right there. I should have saved that in case I needed it later. Yeah, and hard's not really an insanely difficult challenge. It is kind of just you get better the more you play and the more you learn how the levels work and how they flow until you get to the point where you beat it. I don't want to go up there, so I'm just going to use my screen clear. One good thing is, though, or at least I'm pretty sure this is how it works. Again, it's been a while, so I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure if you reveal some sort of, like, power-up or health pickup or anything, and you, like, leave it, you don't grab it, it will stay there forever. It's not like, because you open the box now, the health pickup's gonna disappear after a while. No, it'll always stay there, so... I really thought I was safe there. I must have misremembered, because I thought you could stay there. I think you can, if you want to. Yeah, you can. You don't have to go all the way around the other way for this pickup. You can kind of just grab that middle spot and do a ledge grab. Which I think... I want to say you want to do that in easy. Like if you were... to do like a speed run, there might be something else you need there, and I don't remember what it is. Or maybe it's just faster. No, because that wouldn't make sense. It would be faster than just going back up normally, right? Maybe it is just for the health pickup. Okay, so the yellow key door should be over here. I kind of wish I had a full meter right now. Maybe I shouldn't have used it earlier. Because these big guys do just a lot of damage, so... it'd be really easy to die just... from that. This is definitely where, if you're not familiar with the game, where Harbor can get kind of tricky. There are just these fire hazards everywhere and big enemies. Like, Airport just is not this. Doesn't have this many hazards. Airport's generally just gonna be kind of similar to Bank. I don't know why I went down there. I knew the green door wasn't down there. But it is sometimes, you know, obviously it's on the GBA, so it has a really small screen. So you kind of can't see the platforms very well. Or like where ceilings you can grab onto are. But once you know, more so learn the layout of the levels, you start to kind of know where you can actually jump. And where you can grapple onto, and that kind of does make it a bit easier. It's already being a bit longer than I expected. 20 minutes and not even done with Harbor. I'm actually going to go down and deal with this first. Because these frogs are really annoying, because you just kind of land on them. No, just to grab the ledge to be safe and not jump up until the fire is gone. Oh, you don't even have to go all the way back around. You can just fall down here. So it must just be for the health. Why, that's a good strat. Now, since I come back here and I made sure to have full meter, I can get this guy easily. And I knew there was a second guy, so I made sure to wait to use it. The hostages are all done. And I have all the keys now, so I don't even have to really worry about what's over the rest of the level. To the right there. Maybe it'd be useful if there was a health pickup, but I'm gonna get some extra health here, so... This boss, though, can be kind of tricky. Oh, and I just realized I really wanted some meter for this. Yeah, this is kind of the strat, though. If you can stun lock him like this, that's pretty good. But it's when he's, like, jumping around and shooting fire and stuff where he can just be really difficult. But if you know the stun lock, just kind of hit him as soon as he becomes vulnerable, and he'll immediately fly off the frog again. It's not that bad. And honestly, most of the bosses are kind of like that. Where they have just like some strategy that makes it a lot easier. There is a strategy for the boss of Airport, though, and I really, really am gonna make sure I have that. Also, if you want to do this a bit faster, you can just damage boost over those spikes. I'm not gonna damage boost again, though. But yeah, I really want to remember the strategy for the boss, because the boss of Airport is actually rather difficult, probably the hardest boss. But you kind of make it a bit easier just if you have full meter. I don't need to go in here, I don't think. Because the elevator just brings you up. But if you get, like, a good launch, you can actually skip the entire elevator. If there's a hostage in there, yeah, I'll need to go back and get it, but I don't think I do. But we'll see. I'll clear out everything else first. Let me just find where the blue door is. It's gotta be over here, right? Yeah, that does not look like something I really want to have to deal with. Alright. Normally, you can't really kill the ninjas with normal shots. Like, if you are level 1 and you try shooting them, they'll just shrug it off, and you have to hit them with the sword. But level 3, the beam can pierce right through them and instantly kill them, but obviously he was way too low to the ground for that to work. But I am done with the hostages, so the red key has to be in here. So if that's the case, then yeah, you don't actually need to do the elevator, you can just skip it entirely. Let me see if I can figure out... Oh, that dealt way more damage than I thought. Okay. Because I wanted to get through that part without taking much damage because I had such low health. I wanted to make sure I could get some more health for the next level. But instead of going all the way to the left there, and then going up, what you can do instead is you can kind of just damage boost on the spikes and then jump up using the invincibility frames you have. I'm not meaning to press up here. Probably wouldn't be doing that if I had some sort of controller where I could actually use a D-pad, but... Instead I'm using a GameCube controller, so it's a little more difficult not to accidentally press the wrong direction. Kind of want level 2, but I also don't want to risk taking too much damage, so I'll just ignore him. We just make sure to take that guy out. Dude, he shoots like way faster than I anticipate. That's the problem. But there's only one more enemy really to deal with. I can just ignore this guy. He probably has something good, like either a full meter, level up, or a health pickup, but I'd rather beat the level than die. But I probably won't be full health. Yeah, that only filled me up to half. To be fair, this is probably not the level I want to be half health on. The next level actually is very easy. But, I mean, if there's a health pickup right there, then it doesn't really matter. I just use my meter. I forgot it did that. Okay. Well, that's good to remember. Or then, do I not want full meter for the boss? I actually don't think I do. Because, yeah, I think it's you want invincibility for the first phase. Or no, maybe it's you want invincibility for the second phase. Luckily, enemies don't respawn, though, so... Once you've dealt with a threat, you know that specific threat is gone forever. I'll keep that there just in case I lose level 3. And I can go back and get it anytime I want. Well, that's the yellow door, okay. And the green door was over here? Yeah, okay. The blue door's gotta be just somewhere down here. Yep. Alright, so you were just supposed to get the green key and then leave. Dude, that background out the windows, it's actually really cool. It's kind of just repeating, but... I never really noticed the background. Actually pretty cool that it does look like they are giant windows that you can see out of. I don't remember if you need to go down here. You do, okay. I was thinking, why would you need to go down here if I just got the yellow key? I could just go backwards and do it, but I think the red key is down here. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, okay. It's just kind of different design. Oh, there's a hostage here. But instead of being, you get the green key, so you go back and you go through the yellow door, or you have the green key, you go through the green door, then you get the yellow key, so you go back and go through the yellow door. That design is more so... You get the green key, so you go through the green door, and then you get the yellow key in there. The yellow key's your exit from that little loop. But you could if you wanted. No, you can't. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to just go back through and do the yellow door, because you would need the hostage, so you have to go through the yellow door area either way. Yeah, this level is pretty weird, because it is very, very linear. All of the hostages are in these seats, and you kind of just get them as you go. Level's kind of a very long hallway. Nope. Did not mean to kill that guy. But then you do have these, like, doorways you go through, and you get the different keys and everything. Kind of an odd level, but it's also fairly easy. Just kind of a lot of back and forth. Yeah, if you ever see, like, a big room where there's just absolutely nothing, like an area is just a long stretch of walking one direction, there's probably ninjas. But yeah, and then this, you grab the green key, and then you have to go all the way back to go through the green door, which gives you the yellow key, and then you have to come back all the way through here. A bit of back and forth. Okay, I was just about to use my meter, but I'm pretty sure I do remember how I want to do the boss. I think I want to go in with full meter to immediately hit him, and then the next few hits is going to build up my meter a little bit, so for the final phase I can have invincibility. I think that's the strategy. Which is a good thing I accidentally used the invincibility, because otherwise I would have completely forgotten about that strat. Because again, this boss is actually quite difficult. But at least this level's not that bad. So you should be pretty good to just get through with having most of your health. But yeah, because the first phase of this fight's pretty difficult because you don't want to kill the hostage, which is why it's really good to just start off with using your meter, because that's going to put him into phase 2 where you don't have to worry about the hostage as much. Then you kind of just get as much damage in on him as you can. And since he's fiery, it's kind of hard not to take damage, so just as soon as you get enough hits on him, you can just turn invincible, and then you can just wail on him. A pretty tricky boss if you don't have that strategy, because you have to deal with not hitting the hostage, which if you're level 2, that's really hard. And then phase 2, he just, like, he doesn't give you any frames to where like you're invulnerable to him. So you have to constantly be trying to hit him while also dodging him, and he's like going all around the map. So it can be a fairly tricky fight, but if you have the strategy, it's not that bad. Okay, I got the yellow key. Cave's gimmick is a little different from the other levels. For one, there are different types of enemies now. There's bats and spiders. But then also, the hostages are no longer being guarded, so you don't have to worry about killing them. They're just in the cages, and you just press up, and that frees them. Yeah, definitely knowing where these bats are is gonna be a good thing. I wonder if I don't kill the bats, if they leave, are they still gonna respawn? I guess another explainer is if you are grabbed onto a ceiling and you press R, you'll like instantly zip up. And that's how I'm getting so much height sometimes when I jump off, is I'm holding R to pull up further, and that's giving me more momentum. Which gives me a lot more height. Because if you just tried jumping up normally to skip the elevator, you would not be able to skip that elevator in Airport 1. since you can get that much momentum, you can skip the airport, or the elevator, rather. I think I know there's like one like really weird skip in one of these levels. I don't remember which level it is. Why did that not hit him? Dude. That's stupid. I literally used the attack that says hit and kill all enemies on screen. Why did it not hit him? I don't remember where it is, but I think there's like some sort of skip you can do with abusing how ledge grabs and the chain works, where you can like kind of skip an area that you don't have to backtrack. I don't really remember where that is though. Is it here? Can you do like you grab on and then you... No, because I don't know if you get enough to where you can really do the momentum. I guess you do kind of get a little bit of momentum. Nah, I guess you can't. Or maybe you can, but I'm just not doing it right. In general, the game really is just about minimizing mistakes. If you do take like way too much damage early on in the level, then yeah, it's probably going to be pretty difficult. To make it all the way through the level. But if this can work, that would be good. Okay. Maybe I was too far from him, but I don't know. I've never felt like I've been too far from an enemy. I don't really remember that being an issue. Because the meteor can go through walls, so... I don't see why there would be a way for you to be too far from an enemy. I don't know. These fire guys are the worst enemies, though. They just shoot way too quickly before you can react, and they do so much damage. If I can remember that guy's down there, I might be able to, like, hit him on the way down before he has a chance to fire. Yeah, because that's probably where... Didn't know there were spikes down there. He probably has the last key, though. I could ever just not get hit by these bats. Alright, so I think what I need to do is make sure to take care of this fire guy first, so any health I get isn't going to be just wasted as soon as I get blasted by him. Because he will never respawn, so I don't have to worry about him anymore. The only, like, kind of hard enemy I need to worry about now is just the other fire guy, which I should hopefully be at full health for. And then some of these other big enemies that I don't think should be that bad. But if I do have to retry this level again, I really need to take care of that white ninja first. Yeah, that was just so bad. I don't know why I jumped into him. I had a strategy that worked every other time and then just did something different for no reason. At least the bats don't do that much damage compared to most other enemies. I tried to dodge. Gosh. Well, at this point, it's just better just to try again. Sometimes how you grab on with the grapple hook and ledge grab and stuff can be a little awkward. There we go. That's how you do it. Okay. I understand the patterns now. I'm gonna go after this guy first because he's way more annoying than the red guy. Get this bat. Take care of this guy. Doesn't matter if that bat got away because I'm not coming back to this room, so it doesn't matter if he respawns or not. But okay, that was way, way, way cleaner. Than all my other attempts. Now I don't have to deal with this fire guy up here. I'm just going the green door. Except I don't have the key because I gotta go in the blue door. I missed a couple steps. You know, so focused on not having to deal with that fire guy. I can use my meter here because I'm just gonna get it back, so no reason not to use it there. Now I can go up into the green door. I don't know if there are still going to be any bats that spawn. There's one. Okay. Now that's not a threat. I'm at full health, full meter for this final section, so we should be good. That bat wasn't there, making me have to swing earlier. I think these snakes are infinitely spawning, though. I think they are the only enemy that respawns. And I'll save my meter just in case. Yeah, that was way cleaner. And so that's kind of what this game is just like if you were to beat it for a first time. Just memorizing the levels, knowing what the best strategy is for each individual section, and then eventually you do just get the clean run where you beat the level. Okay, that's actually a really good spot to use the special there. That gets rid of both of those big guys. Don't know what's in that box, and I hope I don't need it right now. I thought I saw another fire guy. Oh, this might be the part where you're supposed to come back through there later, but you can kind of just jump up through it. Yeah, should I go in the blue door already? Maybe. Yeah, but maybe it doesn't matter though if you can jump through there, because you still have to go the other way to get the hostages, right? So maybe that's not as big of a skip as I'm thinking it was. But maybe it's like still somewhat a skip? Maybe saves time in like some way. But I don't think they intend for you to be able to get up there. They want you to come in through the other way. Notice with this boomerang guy, dude, I accidentally hit A. So he grabbed so I couldn't swing easily. But with the boomerang guy, dude, I thought about using my meter and then didn't. I could have gotten through that if I... Oh yeah, because you're supposed to come through here first. You're supposed to come through it this way. But I don't have the blue key this time. Actually, with this fire guy, I can just shoot him from a distance, because not like he can shoot me from that far away. But I really need to remember just what the layout of this level is. So going through that left door is where I can use the blue key. That doesn't do anything for me. That's just a way out of that area. There's the red key, just in a random enemy. But then over here, that's where I was to get the yellow key. Then over here must be where you get the blue key. Instead of having to go all the way down on that left side, I can just go to that middle path and check out what's in here. That's just more meter. I really should not have jumped there. That was a stupid idea. Use the meter here so I can get both these guys. That gives me the blue key. And restore my health. I think if you get enough points, you do get a full heal. And this is where the yellow door is. Okay, so it doesn't matter then, really, what order I do this, because I either have to go to where the yellow door is to get the blue key, or go to where the blue door is to get the yellow key. So I'm going back to an area either way. But I can just go back in here. Instead of having to go all the way back down and go through that area, I can just go straight through here. Luckily, you can just duck his boomerang, so this is honestly the easiest guy to deal with. Because you can just duck under his attack and then just keep shooting him. So now, where's the red door? That's the last thing I really need to know. Was it anywhere in that, like, middle area? I guess I can check, because it's right here. Oh, it is. It's just literally right down here. Okay. Alright, Cave 3. This is the last level of Cave. There's a hostage there. Which, I mean, he's still guarded by a guy. It's just you have no... There's no way you accidentally kill him. Alright, so top left door. Need to remember what this gives me. Just in case I die. Hopefully that won't happen, but... Just in case, that gives me the blue key. And 2 hostages. Well, I mean, the hostages don't really matter. Because I'll be going around these areas anyway. I just want to make sure I'm doing it in an efficient way. So I'm not accidentally going to, like, a place where I need... a certain key before I have that key. Alright, so top right's just the yellow key. So definitely if I die, which seems likely because I'm at very low health. But it seems like you just go top left, top right immediately. There's definitely ninjas here. Yep. I don't like the looks of that guy. Time to go invincible and hope I can kill him fast enough. There we go. There's a hostage up there that I need to get. Can I? I can't actually get here. Okay. I was thinking this was a different area. Oh my gosh, this sucks so bad. Oh well, that was pretty good for how low health I had. Come on, I really want to just go down here and get rid of the fire guy. I probably actually should rescue this hostage too. Okay. Yeah, probably the blue door is just in that bottom left corner. Oh, okay, so if you're ducking, he'll throw it down. Okay. Luckily, though, I can restore some health because I saved that health pickup the fire guy dropped. I can grab that real quick. But yeah, and then there's really no reason not to go ahead and grab the yellow key. I could, in theory, just go do the blue door and then come back later for the yellow key, but there's no reason to save it, I don't think. I'd have to get both anyway, so why not just clear out the top and then clear out the bottom instead of going top, bottom, top, bottom. If I could also stop entering doors when I don't mean to, that would be nice. Really didn't want to take damage there. Didn't want to take damage there either, but I was trying to wait and see if I could get to it to where the ninjas and that big guy were on screen at the same time. Alright, so the last hostage is just through the blue door, so there might not even be a green key in this level. Which would be kind of weird, given that every level since, what, like Harbor 2 or 3 has had the green key, but now it looks like no green key. It's a bit of a shorter level. You also can't turn around on the... with the grappling hook, so whatever direction you're at, whatever direction you're facing, that's the only direction you can really fire in. At least I get this guy from a distance, and then I don't have to use my meter, because it's probably going to be pretty useful to use the meter for the boss, considering it's been pretty useful to use the meter for every boss. I think that was the strategy I was missing for the second boss in Harbor, is I either needed to have full meter going in and just hit him a bunch of times, or I needed to come in with just some invincibility, or both, like I did with the third boss. Yeah, just being able to do some damage to start. You probably don't want to save the meter. Okay, dude, if I could, like, jump up, dude. It's kind of annoying sometimes with this game, it's just... feels like you can't jump sometimes. Like, your buttons just don't do anything. There is a strategy for this boss, I just don't really remember it. Alright, so the bats do not give you any meter. I was thinking that might actually make this the easiest boss in the game, if you can just stay away from him, kill the bats to get your meter up. And then just be kind of invincible for the full boss, or just be able to use meter elsewhere. Oh, okay. I forgot base is actually quite difficult with these, No, that's definitely just gonna kill me. I knew that was a bad play. But yeah, these lasers, these can be really, really annoying. But I think we are done with the standard levels. Honestly, I didn't realize how much structured in a very similar way to Sonic 3D Blast this game is. But like in the first few levels, it's an enemy has the guy you need to rescue. So you have to kill the guy to get the guy you need. Dude, that was just a really bad situation. I could have grappled up, though. I could have still dodged it. I didn't need to jump into that laser. But then when you get near the end, it stops being that enemies have the guy you need to rescue. So instead, you just have to find the guy. And then the final level just straight up doesn't have any. guys need to rescue, so it's just a point A to point B type of level. It's very interesting. Because there are no hostages in base at all. And then I don't even think there are the keys. I think it's just a linear point A to point B. It's more so a challenging survival stage rather than rescue all the guys. Dude, the lasers are so damaging. This is definitely the most trial and error of all the stages. A lot of restarting. Just to figure out all these patterns and the best way to approach these scenarios. Just in case he throws something. And then sometimes you just kind of flounder and take way too much damage too early on. But actually, for a level like this, I don't want a full meter. I'd rather be able to just be invincible and just walk through everything without having to worry. I guess full meter would still be useful for, like, taking care of these guys. Did not see if there was a laser there. I think there are still 3 levels, though, for base, so... This could be a bit... Dude. Oh my gosh, I was mashing the jump button and it just didn't. Honestly, for those guys with the big guns, like, sometimes you want to move up and he just grabs onto the same spot 100 times. Maybe I need to save my meter for there, but I don't want to wait too long to where it's not going to give me the invincibility. I guess I just need to see if I do end up getting full meter. And I don't want it. Then I'll know next time, just don't kill one of the enemies. I'm using my meter too early because I'm afraid of getting the meter too full. But, like, I don't need to use the meter there. Like, these sections are easy. I don't need to worry about using my meter until I get to a section that's harder, like this area. Alright, so you do have to go across. Oh, it ran out the worst time. That's a crazy difficult section. That's definitely where I want to use my meter. If I just wasn't at super low health already, that would have been a lot easier. But it looks like I'm good on my meter. I don't need to worry about using it too early. Hopefully, though, it wasn't like I skipped an enemy that I forgot I skipped last time. You can destroy these guys' projectiles, so make sure you're swinging if they are shooting. Yeah, just knowing where all the enemies are, that's just the best thing to do. Alright, so now I have a lot of meter for this section. I can just jump through. Okay, so you do still need the red key, but the red key's right next to the door. Alright. And again, that level, like... Yeah, I struggled a lot with it, but it really wasn't that hard of a level once I knew the formula. Once I knew where all the enemies were, and the patterns I needed to go with, and where to use my meter, it wasn't that bad. And that really is just the structure of this game. It's just more pronounced in these levels, since these are just gauntlets of hazards. And yeah, enemies do like so much damage that you really just need to be aware and stop sliding into the same laser over and over. I don't know, is this side easier? It kind of looks harder because there are more lasers, but if it's just waiting, then surely it's actually easier because you don't have to deal with that guy's cycle. Because that guy's cycle is a bit more unpredictable compared to the lasers, because the lasers visually you can see when they're about to fire and when they're about to end. I mean, I guess these guys are visual as well, but still. Oh. At least that's enough. Whoops. Okay. That would have been a good place to use my meter, but, we're kind of already done. I guess there's no point in that. And full heal again. I think how much you heal depends on how many points you have. But yeah, and then level 3 is the boss fight, and not another level, and that's because, well, this is not the final level. There is, in fact, going to be another level after this. So if we do the boss and then the final level, rather than the final level and then the boss. Other than how much damage he does, honestly, this isn't, like, that hard of a boss compared to many of the other bosses. I mean, really, the cave boss wasn't that hard either. You can kind of just brute force it. But really, it's like the first 3 bosses I find just to be way harder than the last few. Granted, that was pretty bad, but I was just taking way too much damage. I think this is one of those boss fights to where the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes. So if you can just do it quickly, then it'll be a lot easier. Yeah. Definitely did not have enough time to make it through that gap, so just better to make sure I use my invincibility there. But yeah, see, that time he only did the 4 flames once just because I dealt enough damage to him quick enough. Oh, no health heal. Interesting. Oh, no, I guess it defaults to you have full health no matter what, so it doesn't visually show you gaining health. Yeah, now the real final level. Technically, though, I think this is considered a different level from base. So technically that was the last level of base, but I mean, this is really the last level. I remembered about that fire just a little too late. And hey, I had to remember what to do. Oh, gosh. I'm not gonna have any meter, am I? I don't know, the way the screen went red there and it said saving kind of freaked me out. Like, that was gonna be you have one chance at doing this level, and if you fail, then you have to restart the entirety of base. I don't know why I thought that. I've beaten this game many times. I probably would have remembered if that was the case. Alright, so I was just supposed to stand over. Okay. Dude, that's so lame. Really was trying to go up. Okay, yeah, so they want you to just get up a little higher. So you can see where these lasers are and not swing around as much. But I know where the hazards are. I should be good to go there with a lot more health. And then you are timed if you don't beat the level in time, you do lose. You do have to be kind of fast. I think that's the last section, though. Like, once you get up that really big shaft, that's kind of the end of the level. I'm gonna wait for the laser to go before I try and grapple on, just to make sure. Yep, and then we just destroy this computer. And that somehow stops the self-destruction sequence. I guess. And that should be the end of the game. I'll have the cutscene play just to make sure. Pretty sure there's no more levels. I think I would have remembered another level after this if there was. Yep, literally says credits. That means it's the end of the game. That was quite a bit longer than I honestly expected. An hour 20. I was thinking more so like a little less than an hour. But to be fair, probably would have been less than an hour had I just like fully known every level going into it and didn't have to restart any. But still, it was still pretty short, all things considered. It wasn't that hard, other than a couple levels, but just learning how they worked made them not too big of an issue. So that is 33 games done in 20 days. And that will probably remain how it is for day 20. Day 21, though, hopefully I can get just to doing some really, really short games. Get that number of games up. Yeah, so some really short games coming up, and we'll have to see how they go.